Isn't that just beautiful? Hi friends, welcome to another episode of Lifestyle in the Garden. This is Elaine, your RN in the garden, and this is a beautiful way to start. As I putter around the garden today, I remembered a few months ago I took some cutting from my friend Elaine's camellia, and I opened one this morning and it had roots. There was actually 3 cuttings in that container, but before I opened this one, I said, let me do a video. So that piece didn't go. There's 2 more pieces in. I don't see anything on the bottom, but the other cuttings had rooted. So let's get in here and see what we've got. Don't want to damage these. Let's see if we can get it out. And I've see a few pieces of root right there. So this is one, and you can see a few pieces of root hanging off, and that is one of the camellia cutting. I think it was, I need to go back and look. Did I write it on this? I'm not seeing anything on this. Let me see if there was anything on the other bottle. No. But I know this was a few months ago. So that's my camellia cutting. I don't want to disturb the root too much. I'm just going to use something to get the soil out the way. Get it in a larger container because I only had sand on it, and of course the sand has no nutrients. So I have repotted this camellia cutting. So that's one. This is the other one. And you can see what it looks like. You chop off the leaves so it doesn't put too much energy in that. And actually I now have 5 small plants. See, I got 2 in the back from the first one I opened. There was actually 3, and all 3 had rooted. So this container had, well, there was 3, but one didn't make it, wherever it is, that little piece. So that didn't make it. These 2 did, and I'm just gonna pot these on. So you can get new plants from cuttings, and that helps to save a few pennies. So these are the camellia cuttings from my friend Elaine. I thank her so much, and hopefully these will grow in. I have my husband making a cold frame for me, so we're gonna see how that works for this winter. And hopefully I can give my friend one of these cuttings and she could put it somewhere else in her garden. So camellia cutting, repotted, and I'm going to give that some water, and we'll continue puttering around the garden. I showed you a photo earlier with the branches. This is the juniper, and I cut off some of the lower branches just to let some light in underneath the tree, and also for that shade garden to give it just a little bit more sun under there. This is on Elaine Avenue. This is the potato. So those are kind of dying back. I'll get in there and see if, the potatoes are ready. But I've been cleaning up this little alcove, and I chopped off one of the lower branch. So a bit of pruning today while puttering in the garden. I don't know if you can see the difference, but we expose more trunk. I have taken off maybe two, I think it's about 3 branches. So if you look right up there, you'll see that area. So that's 2 branches that I took from this end, and I think I did one from this end. I did one from that end. So three large branches were pruned, and then a few of the smaller ones. So that was my workout for today. And this is the shade garden below. So these plants will get just a tad more sun, because I have planted like the daisy. I did not see any blooms yet, or maybe just didn't want to bloom as yet. This is a hydrangea, and I've had this now maybe about 3 years, and I noticed that it's not a large plant. So is this one. I apologize for the noise. I apologize for all that noise. We're in the front and it's very noisy. So let me get my gimbal. So this is that bed. It does seem a bit more lighted, a bit more lit, since we have removed those extra branch. I've moved that pot a bit. So it's not at its best, but I'm still showing you because some things are dying back right now. I did put, what is that? I think it was a pulmonaria. I don't know if it's gonna grow in, or I don't know if it's just dying back, or it's just getting used to that area because I moved it. But this is the garden bed outside off Elaine Avenue. And this is what it looks like right now. Dotted with one or few colors. I have a couple things in pot. These Veronicas are dying back too. They had a little white on there. They didn't bloom that much for me this year. This is a clematis, and I still have not gotten any bloom on it, so I don't know. It's there. Some things can be a bit temperamental in the garden. This is on the edge. That's a sedum autumn joy. And of course, I didn't cut it back, so it's all splayed out in the middle. You can see over there, but still pretty. I didn't want to give it the Chelsea chop and then I didn't get any bloom, so I'll go ahead, let it do its thing. There is a tomato that's seeded itself in that box. I had some potatoes in there, but then I think they're all died back. All those dried little what would you call those branches? I think there's still a potato plant in there, but most of it has died back. So the tomato is taken over. I do see a few small tomatoes on it. So we'll see. This is the strawberry. And I've eaten a few. The squirrel was out here, stood on his hind legs, and he was up having my strawberries. So now that he has discovered that it's up there, I'm gonna have to put a little netting on it. So I've been tidying up my little greenhouse over there. It's more like a storage shed. And I have repotted this. It broke off the original plant. That came back. That's a chrysanthemum, and I planted it last year. It came back, so it's doing its thing up there. That's my little area. This is the other camellia that I repotted. There's another piece of a plant that broke off. This broke off, that broke off, the Japanese maple, so I stuck them there. I have an idea with these little coconut shells. So I am going to paint them, make them nice and pretty, put them right there, and make little fairy houses and stick them in the garden. So that's what I'm playing with for now. Looking down garden. And in fact, I do want to go mess with the area below the spirals, where I'm creating a little underplanting. The rabbit came up and of course ate the liriope. This one have a little bit. So I did put a little net. Of course it's too late, so that's what's left of that one. And he had this one as well. So that's what's left. These, he didn't mess with them too much. And I got a little piece of net that I put over. They don't like that. And I like this one because it actually looks like the soil, but I am going to put a piece of the barrier and then add the mulch. And I would love to see if I could do that today. A little bit tired because this is my pile where I pruned that juniper. So you could see that yours truly was not playing around today. So let me get this gimbal working. So that's down the driveway. That's the juniper. So it's less branches. And then this is the pile. So Hercules will be transporting these to the landfill one of these days. I'm gonna see if I can get Hubs to do that because I am so tired. Yeah, so my gimbal is giving trouble. So that's my pile. And I would love to do, at least I want to get the barrier down, some of the edging or maybe all the edging, and then mulch it and be done with this. I am rethinking the shape of the border for the Shishigashira, the Japanese maple. So I'm playing with that shape. Maybe taking it around this pot so nobody hits that pot, because sometimes when they're cutting, the edger sometimes hit the pots and I don't want them to crack. So I am working my brain a bit. I have these stones like to give me an idea. So I'm still playing with that. A little bit of color under the spruce. So I'm rethinking that too. But of course, you know, every time I rethink something, I give myself a little bit more work. I'm trying to get the projects done. And it seems like I'm creating more. So, oops. Let me see if I can get a move on this and try to get it done today. So that's gonna be my other little project, to get the 2 rings around the spirals. And it's a nice day. I might give it a little trim because they're begging for a haircut. Their spirals are not so pronounced. So that's my plan today. Hopefully I could get it done. And I'll keep puttering around the garden. changing the shape of this this edging block. So I am gonna take it along the walkway because there's just a little bit of grass that's gonna be popping up and I'm gonna have to keep weeding it. So I figured I would just use the mulch, maybe to move the bricks and just let the edging go. Okay, that is one. We did it. So basically, when I place the gray edgers, it would be really just wasting bricks. So I removed the other bricks and just added more mulch. There's a little bit of definition going on here around the spiral. So that should be okay. Let's see if the gimbal will just behave. So that is from the parking pad onto the spiral box, and then that's the view. So I'll clean this up. We're getting a little drizzle. If I don't get the downpours, then I'll come over to spiral number 2. So I'll just clean that up just a little bit, but literally that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put the barrier down because there's weeds, there's grass. What I'll eventually do is kind of edge like right here so the grass doesn't grow up to the block, but when it's edged, it will look nice. So that is what one of the spiral looks like for that border, and I will try to work on this one. So thanks for being here with me today. Hope you have a wonderful day and enjoy yourself until I see you in the garden next time. Have a beautiful day, and thank you so much.